What's going on, everybody? This is day 4 of the 5-day fast. I just finished getting to the gym and I was able to get in a 1 mile run. And I just wanted to share this idea in case you're wondering what it ultimately feels like. It feels like I am 5 times weaker. Now, I know earlier in a video, in a previous video, a day before, I talked about this idea that potentially fasting could increase vitality while you're fasting. But that does not seem to be the case on day 4. Now, I'm not saying this can't happen. I'm not saying that maybe on like day 6, 7, 8, you might like your body might finally adapt and you can actually fast for more days easier. But through this experience, through going to the gym and pushing myself, I try to run 1 mile. Usually I could go 2.5 to 5, maybe more if I really push myself, but 5, and I can probably do a little bit more after, but usually I don't go beyond 5 unless I really want to. And today I did 1 and I was struggling. My muscles felt heavy, they felt exhausted. And it definitely felt like I had like no energy, no sort of source of energy throughout my body. So it was a struggle bus 1 mile, and it took me a little while to run it. My body was struggling, it was a bit tough, and with that I tried to get to the gym too. And although my strength felt like it was, I would say that my strength didn't drop by 5 times, or it's not 5 times, I guess it would be like 80%, like an 80% drop in overall performance running wise. But in terms of a physical exercise and like weightlifting, I definitely noticed like probably like a 75% drop in my overall strength, maybe less. I mostly did like lightweight, a little bit of like bicycle cardio, but overall, I can get a sense of the exhaustion, and I can't imagine, or can try to imagine now because I've had the experience of, doing this fast for 4 days. But I guess I can imagine what it would be like having to struggle, whether you're like walking through the desert, or you're in like Survivor, or you're in some type of situation where you can't get food or whatever. If you're like hunting for your food and you don't know what that feels like, I can definitely imagine how important it is to get some nutrients in your body at least, once a day, once every 2 days. Otherwise, you're going to start to not function properly. And even more importantly, I've had tons and tons of water these past few days. I've had more water than I probably usually drink in a week in just a few days, or in like 2 weeks. So, fortunately, my body hasn't had to suffer from dehydration, which I'm sure is absolutely terrible and for your body, which I'm definitely not going to do to my body. I'm definitely not going to prevent my body from having liquids, and I would definitely not recommend that. But from my understanding, fasting and not eating for a few days, in terms of doing it for the purpose of fasting, or whatever reason you're doing it under, a physician's watch or whatever, or if you've spoken with a physician and they said you have a healthy body, and they're not going to say go for it, but you do it anyway, like in one of those situations, it can be potentially helpful after. Like, obviously I feel tired now, but I'm very curious to see how my body resets afterwards, if it does. Maybe I'll go back to the same old habits. Maybe I'll reset. And they say it takes 30 days to break a habit, but no way am I fasting for 30 days. So we're just going to have to see what happens with 5. And I can already tell that, my body, that the idea of wanting things like fast food, fried chicken, chili burgers, all of those things ultimately is mental. Yes, my body craves it. Yes, I think my body does well with meat. Like, there's this company that I think does like a DNA test that checks and talks about your nutrition and what types of food that are best for your like overall genetic or DNA structure or whatever. And they do that and they tell you what's good for you. And some people do better with meat. Some people don't do as well with meat. So depending on your diet, I'm fortunate enough to have a diet that, or a body from my understanding, that does well with meat. So I eat plenty of like meats, but I can definitely tell that a lot of the desire and need for meat products or like greasy products, oily foods, just those tasty, straight to the soul, fills your stomach, yummy, delicious, good old American cooking. I know that part of that, a lot of that has to do with my mind, my mindset, my mentality, what I think I need versus what my body really needs. And I've really come to, think about that. But who knows? It takes a long time to really build a habit of eating healthy for some people. And for me, maybe this is a good reset. And it's only after this that I'll really notice whether, it's even worth it. Is a 5-day fast really going to have any impact on you in terms of how you feel overall when you're done? And on top of that, I definitely notice a lot of, I don't like to say brain fog because I don't feel foggy. I just feel a little bit slower and a little bit of not having just the right words when I'm in a conversation. I feel like I speak a little bit slower in order to get the right words out. And I think that can be a good thing or a bad thing, but ultimately, if you're like a super fast-paced person, you like to talk really, really fast, then maybe you'll notice like a big change. But this obviously isn't for everyone. If you're a salesperson, if you need to be sharp and on your feet, if you're a computer programmer, if you're like, a construction worker, if you need your energy on a day-to-day basis for that type of stuff, my job does not need as much energy for 8 hours straight as some others. So fortunately, I can attempt this during a regular week. But if you need to be sharp, if you need to be physically active, it's probably not a good idea to try fasting. And with that said, this is just my experience. I've had a good experience. I like the challenge of this. This feels like something that I'm really working to overcome, to not just discipline myself. That's an overused term, but and it sounds like a little bit cuckoo, and not to discipline, but to overall just challenge myself and see what I can do with my body and how the effect will be within like healthy range, right? Like there's a certain level where something becomes super unhealthy, unproductive, and there's some things that are just challenging, like running. Not everyone needs to spend hours running every single day to improve their cardio health. Not everyone needs to go to the gym every single day, but some people do. Some people need to challenge themselves. Some people want to try new things to challenge themselves. And sometimes things are just a little bit too crazy for some people, like fasting. And the reason I'm saying that it's too crazy for some people is I've been trying to make videos about this, and I've had some responses of people just like thinking it's ridiculous. So with that said, I've had a good time doing it. I mean, in the moments when I'm hungry and hangry, I'm not having a good time. But I think that after I'm done, after 5 days is over, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, I'm definitely going to enjoy the anything that enters my mouth and I digest over the next year or more until I do this again. So with that, I wish you the best on everything. Thank you for watching and have a great day.